Hiya. We're here.
John Landis in mind.
We're only 4 minutes late.
John Belushi.
To be honest with you, I'm pretty alright with it, to be honest.
4 minutes late?
Yeah.
It seems alright, doesn't it?
Yeah,
considering.
I'm going to say that's alright. Welcome to Howson's Brew. Everybody joining me today, we have got Jay Marty.
I'm just recovering, actually.
I just poked him in the eye.
He just literally said, stand against that wall, I want to see how tall you are, and then just poked me in the eye.
Yeah, yeah. That was
Which,
Proper school ground technique, that.
just like,
Stand up against the wall, I want to see how tall you are.
and then went, oh, sorry, mate.
I mean, yeah, I didn't mean it, but it happened. Alright, apparently my mic's off.
How's it always yours?
Fucking great. Well, everyone else thinks it is. Move out the way so I can see. We'll move out the way so I can see. We'll move out the way so I can see, though. 1, 2, 3. Doesn't look like it is.
Exactly.
But everyone's saying... Alright.
Put all the rest on it and then see if it's still...
We're getting ball busted in the comments here then off everybody. Fucking hell, lads.
What, your mic's not on?
I don't know. Is my mic on? Comment.
It's got to
Look,
be on.
I can't be arsed if it's off. I'm just going home.
This is your home, Steve. What are you talking about? You sleep in that chair.
Oh, right. I have slept in this chair.
Have you?
Yeah, before the UFC last week.
Like that.
It's not the only time.
No, I got a neck pillow and I reclined it.
Oh, I've seen you.
Then I got my napper down for a bit.
Airplane style.
And they was throwing Haribo at me.
That's not nice, is it? Like when you go and you visit your granddad in the old people's home and then you start throwing arrow about it. You wouldn't do it, would you?
No.
Not that you're the same, but maybe today you are.
What?
Mentally.
I'm missing every 3 or 4th word.
Yeah, that's fair.
Thanks for joining us, everybody, on what appears to be fucking Groundhog Day for the Bruno Fernandes trial. I didn't even get through introducing everyone. Joe and Ryan. Hi.
Alright.
Oh, yeah.
Ryan, give us an update on what the fuck is going on.
James Cooper, the sort of the main guy.
Oh, that guy off Sky?
Yeah.
Hi, James.
Has said it's likely to happen as long as... This bit was a bit pointless. He said as long as it suits both parties, obviously. But yeah, it looks like it's edging ever closer, thankfully. However,
Like a bastard glacier.
he is in the squad for tonight's game.
Yeah, not United squad, in case everyone was wondering.
No. I just don't get it. I just can't get my head around it. It's just... And haven't we just agreed to the 55 million that they wanted the whole time?
I mean, that is what we do.
We did that with Maguire, we did it with Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah.
They said we want 50 million for our Wan-Bissaka.
He was like, no.
50 million. And then 9 days
Cut
later,
to
we
us
gave
at the
him
end of the
50
thing, you're
million.
like, just counting 20s out.
For Maguire, they said we want 80 million plus 5 million add-ons. Fucking not on your life. And then we ended up 12 days later giving 80 million plus 5 million add-ons.
Yeah, I mean, top ball was starting it.
Today saying, like, United don't want to get, bent over a barrel for Fernandes because it'll make prices go up for United signings in the summer. Like, that hasn't been the case for 20 years. Like, we've always had to pay more for people.
I can't remember the last time, other than maybe Daniel James, we actually got a bargain.
Yeah, but if he'd have signed for Leeds, what was he going to Leeds for? Wasn't 15 mil.
It's like 4 million, wasn't it?
All right, then, well, there you go then.
Yeah,
never
you
then.
just never get
Van
bargains.
Persie, but 2013 for a player
He was
that...
an injured player, 1 year left on his contract.
Fergie actually felt he got his
and he was
pants pulled
29
down
and 30
on that
years
one
old,
at
wasn't he?
first.
Yeah.
Was he 29?
28, I think.
I mean, you look at
29, 28, yeah.
the best signings we've had. Martial would probably paid as much as you're going to pay for Martial. Pogba, you paid as much as you're going to pay for Pogba. Ditto Lukaku. Zlatan was a free because of his age.
Yeah.
And we probably tried to give him.
wages.
We probably tried to give someone money for that.
Yeah, we probably did. Probably just set fire to some money in the car park. Just to
How
make
often
up
does
for not
anyone
paying
get
for it.
like a ridiculously good deal though?
Well,
It's rare, isn't it? Like maybe Madrid buying Ronaldo off United
I don't know. Leicester
is
did
about
it.
as good as you can get.
To be fair, even in the current market, like 80 million dead was like a shit ton.
Yeah, it's probably like paying but it's like paying like 120 million now, probably 150 million for what was the best player in the world at the time, and he was 24. Like they did well out of that deal, to be honest. Yeah. But other than that, people don't usually get that great, bargains, especially not United.
It just doesn't seem to be any deals we've got recently where you think, well, that's a good deal. Like with City.
Not even a meal deal in the ground.
Exactly.
It's gone up 50p.
I don't.
That's it. Do you get it?
No, not anymore.
No. Take your own in.
No, just don't get it.
That's sad, isn't it?
I can't remember.
But do you know what? They do some outrageous concoctions, shall we say? Like a cheeseburger in a pasty.
What? Where?
Old Trafford.
The picture of that looks
In the
disgusting.
ground?
Yeah. Or they'll have like a pea supper, which is a full pie with peas in a pasty. If you can think it, they'll put it in a pasty.
In the ground?
Yeah.
You can get a can of Heineken, Steve.
Yeah.
In a pasty.
With like mini cheddars.
Yeah.
and brown sauce in a pasta.
Yeah. All in there.
But the first two were actually real.
Right, okay. I guess the can of Heineken.
Yeah, the can of Heineken was a lie. It's a bottle.
Yeah, yeah, that you can't
It's
have
a plastic
lid for.
bottle with no lid.
I hate that when they give you the bottle of water with the lid off. You're like, what am I going to do? Just throw
Yeah.
this
Oh, they give it us.
yeah.
And I go, look, my fucking son's an idiot. Can I have a lid?
Did they give you one?
Sometimes they do, yeah.
they?
And sometimes, and it's so funny because they go in the finger and they go,
like they're sliding like drugs over the table or something.
yeah,
like
it's a
Coke
fucking lid
I know.
for a Fanta.
Why is that? Why do you think that is that?
Because apparently you can't throw bottles when they don't have a lid on. Well, you can. Especially if they've got liquid in them. They've still got the weight of the liquid.
Bottle, doesn't it, as well?
You just stuff something inside it, right?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Stuff a pasty into the top.
Yeah.
And then launch it.
Some peas.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, throw some comments in. We might read them.
Anyway, yeah, I don't think we've ever had a bargain. Not since Eric.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Is Eric the last bargain we had?
Did he feel like a bargain at the time?
Andy Cole was a bargain.
Yeah, I think
Andy
he
Cole was a massive
No, it was a
bargain.
British record fee.
Yeah, but it was still a bargain.
He can't be a record fee
Of course you can.
and a bargain.
Robbo was a bargain.
All right. Okay.
Keane was a bargain. Record fees, but bargains.
Yeah,
How
but
much did we get Van
sometimes
Nistelrooy for?
some players, he was like 18 million, I think. Some players turn out to be bargains, but weren't bargains at the time. Like
I think Cole
Cristiano
was a
Ronaldo.
bargain.
What was
I
he?
think because you remember they
He scored
valued,
30-something goals in
Keith
him.
Gillespie at $1 million, and we paid $6 million plus Keith Gillespie that brought it up to $7 million. So for Andy Cole, that's
Soz. Well, I'm not
Who
sorry,
was like
actually.
one of the best strikers in the country at the time.
that
It wasn't
was
like we would get like
ridiculous.
Ronaldo from.
He was shitting
Lisbon.
goals for Newcastle.
Yeah.
that
wasn't
was ridiculous. It
And
was
he carried on doing it at
madness.
United. Yeah, like Ronaldo. What was it? 16 million or something? 14 million. Cristiano.
That's a good point. That is a
It was a bargain, but at the time
No, it wasn't
though,
because
this
what did you
17-year-old
sign? A
kid-
17-year-old from Portugal. That's what you bought.
Yeah,
you didn't buy Cristiano Ronaldo.
No.
He's only in hindsight is he Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
And there
He
was a
could have
few years
easily have
when
been
we were
Bebe
doubting
or
him.
Nani.
We were doubting him, weren't we, for a few years?
Yeah.
for a couple of years at
Yeah.
least.
Oh,
Until he got to
I mean,
back.
do you know what? It is the truth, mate. I liked him, but I never thought he would be what he became. I thought I like him. He's decent, and I got the criticism of him like bit of a one-trick pony. Fucking hated his diving. His diving was atrocious. I don't know what's more egregious was whether it was Drogba's diving or his diving, but they were both so bad. Where you just like
Drogba was more
fuck's
egregious
sake.
because half the time he'd go in really hard and smack someone over, and then the next time they'd go in for the second one and he'd like crumple to the floor.
Pretty mad.
At least Ronaldo
Drogba's
was like
built a British
consistently.
shithouse, so-
Yeah, looks like a fucking
falling
bouncer.
over. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the
It
difference.
was weird with Ronaldo after his debut. I was convinced he was the greatest player in the history of association football. After that 30 minutes against Bolton,
You're right.
and then the next 10 months, I thought he was poor.
Just think poor. You don't just think like young lad, bit of prospect.
I don't know. I was a bit like, is this going to work out? Because he was very soft, and I thought it might.
They played him
the
a lot,
rigours
didn't they?
Of English football might not be for him.
I think Fergie knew the potential of him early because he played him a lot, almost to the point where you go, "The fuck is he doing?" Like, do you remember when people used to say, "I think Fletcher's got pictures of him shagging a dog or something"? How the fuck is Fletcher and O'Shea every week? There was always the one, and people were like, "What the
O'Shea
fuck are
over
they?"
Brown always baffled me, especially towards the end. I never
O'Shea's got
that.
400 appearances.
I think
never got
that's
that.
because well, that's a good point. I think because Wes Brown used to get injured quite a bit, didn't he? To be
I know,
fair.
but when they were both fit, for me,
Yeah.
it was like you've got one of the best defenders ever.
I think he's
and
injured
John
now.
O'Shea, and you're choosing John O'Shea. No disrespect to John O'Shea, I love him, but he was never for me in the same class as Wes
Isn't it
Brown.
mad how we used to like proper underappreciate players now, but you do like you die to have like Dan Fletcher.
Do I really
Dan
fucking
Fletcher is
diss
so good in this team.
Nani?
Yeah.
How good would Nani be now?
miss him.
He
Like
wasn't-
a peak Nani right now.
He was
The
more
thing is,
like though.
I love Nani.
Did my
I
fucking
loved him,
tits in.
But exactly, he's so frustrating.
But
at
there's no
times.
one in our team now.
Well, could do a standing backflip? No, they're in.
Well, who can do half the things he could do at his best. Like, yes, some games you just think, why are you even a footballer? But, like, the things he can do, we've got, like, a player in that, like, Rashford can score the occasional worldie from outside the box, but he can't, like... Well, Rashford's a bad example because he's probably better than Nani. But the rest of the team can't do all the stuff Nani did, the tricks, the skills, the goals.
The backflips.
And just, like... The just sheer audacity for some of the stuff he used to do. It was ridiculous,
He's
wasn't
a
it?
dick though on it.
I remember against Madrid where he came to the corner flag. We were chasing the game, I think, or it was level. I think it was 1-1 on aggregate. He starts waving to the crowd, and the crowd overruns on the feet. And he goes to take the corner, and he literally does the worst corner I've ever seen in my life, where he gives it straight to the Real Madrid defender, and they counter attack and nearly score. I thought that
Nani.
just sums up Nani.
Classic, innit?
And he'd be second best player in his team now.
Yeah, he had a spell, didn't he, like a 18-month spell where he was fucking unplayable. He was. I think he won our Player of the Year award, didn't he?
The memories that you've got of him cutting inside and belonging one have totally eclipsed the 700 of them shots that fucking was taking people out on tier 2.
He's
That one against Chelsea.
exactly. He's one of those, and he's perfect for YouTube or making a show reel.
Yeah.
Because you get his highlights, you think, oh my god, this is the greatest player ever. But like you say, you
It was a backflip.
Yeah.
And he does that thing where you pass it from your left foot to your right and your right foot to your left and do like 900 fucking step overs in the middle and shake your foot a bit like that and look just ridiculous. Yeah, you can do that all day long. All day long. Wake up in the morning doing that. Go to bed at night after doing that all day.
Do you reckon 08-09 Anderson would look decent in this time?
Yeah, but only 08-09 Anderson because 9-10, 10-11, 12-13 and... Well, 12-13 Anderson was
Yeah,
good
I was going
actually.
to say 12-13 was decent.
Was it 12-13? No, was it 10-11?
No,
It was
no.
10-11.
Leeds.
No, it was 11-12.
Leeds at home was the watershed moment for me with Anderson.
But they scored.
No, they won.
Oh, the opposite.
Beckford scored.
That was 9-10, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. I don't think it was.
Was it 11-12 when him and Cleverley just bossed it at central mid and was
Yeah.
like, mate, we've got central midfield for 10 years?
And then I think he got injured. But there was,
2
I
years.
think that game there was when I fell out.
Nolan did Cleverley?
No, it was Kevin Davis. Kevin Davis did cleverly, and he never recovered really ever.
At all.
That was it. Yeah, he was he was injured when he came back for Everton. I think did okay.
Is that a prime example of Fergie using the right tools at the right time in the right team? Because Fergie had this knack of making shit players do stuff because he knew the limits of what they could do. Like you were saying before, weren't you? Like, yeah, fucking Darren Gibson.
G-bomb. I
loads
spent many hours on Twitter defending him. Time well spent.
Always had a worldie in him.
Why do you defend shit players, Jay?
I don't know, man. It's like and it gets to that point where you defend
Even
him
you
that
know.
much that you can't go back now. Do you know what I mean? It's
We're
like
dying on this shield.
yeah. Yeah. This is the hill I have chosen to die on, and it's gonna.
It's Darren Gibson. It's Darren Gibson Hill 104.
The G-bomb. I'm sticking
Fucking
with it.
hell.
But I think as well, going back to your original point, when you've
I had
got
a point? You had a point?
world class, no, you went about how like
Oh, right,
Fergie
okay.
getting the best out of players. When you've got a world class back four or back five, it helps. And we had that for 10 years.
And that's where Smalling came in and
Yeah.
looked great, and Johnny Evans come in and looked great alongside him. But that's a wider point I've sort of been making over the last couple of weeks is that are Rashford and Marshall shit? No. Why do they look better together? Well, better players make better players look like better players. And if you had one or two extra midfielders in there that were of that level as well, suddenly like you can play Jimmy Garner maybe. Or,
Rashford said in that BT interview, didn't he, with Van Persie? Van Persie's like, who do you like playing with? He didn't pick out Andreas Pereira as someone that like.
No, really?
Pop,
No, really?
Like you said, didn't it? Better players play better together.
Look at the opening day against Chelsea. Andreas Pereira doesn't do that ball to Rashford, does he?
He might shoot from there.
Do you know what I mean? I know Pereira's sort of Martial, but that ball was one of the only. You know, there's very few players who can do that sort of pass. Pogba's one of them.
Yeah.
Spurs away last season, another example. Those are the sorts of balls that only he can do. And when he's not in the team, you're not going to get those types of chances.
No.
You get them from elsewhere, but not from you know the other midfielders. I love Scott McTominay, but he ain't going to put it on a sixpence from you from 80 yards. No. So
Scott's excellent for 50% of the game, and it's the 50% of the game we don't have the ball, and you need someone that can do that job. But you saw the difference of that fucking cameo that we got of Pogba when we've seen Fred and McTominay all year, and I'd say we've been impressed with Fred and McTominay. I think they both had good seasons. But there's a level to this, and when Pogba come on, you go, "Oh yeah."
It's like a different species came on. He's faster than everyone. He's like footballing brain is 2 steps ahead of everyone else.
Yeah.
He doesn't make the wrong decision anywhere near as often as, especially Pereira in that role. Like the way he was getting the ball, he just looked so dangerous every time he had it. It looked like he was going to set something up or score.
Pereira was literally the only player on Sunday. Like you could tell it was a League 2 Tranmere.
League
One.
You could tell it was a League 1 against the Premier League team. Pereira was the only one in our team that didn't stand out. Didn't look a cut.
I just can't remember a player who's got that many
year.
games and has been that bad in so many of them and keeps getting picked.
But who else you pick?
No, I agree. It's
It's him or Lingard, isn't it?
Yeah, and Jesse's having the worst season he's ever had.
And he's halfway out the door.
Yeah, so I mean, it just goes to show where we're at. Pereira won't get on the bench in a Fergie team.
Not much.
Do you know what I mean? Let alone be trouble in it. You could argue the likes of Martial, Rashford, Pogba would. Even Scott McTominay might be with a shout, but no way Pereira gets near it.
Well, if you go back to the 08 team, right?
Yeah.
You put McTominay in that squad. Does he start? No.
No.
But he's the one that comes in when Owen Hargreaves Achilles inevitably give out. He's the one that goes in and give Carrick a night off. And there's a way to manage a squad. I mean, even in 13, McTominay probably picks up 15, 18 matches.
Cleverly does. Why not McTominay? I know there's slightly different types of players, but you get where I'm coming from. It's it's doable, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where I think. Well, I mean, like we did that signing video, didn't we, the other day? And I had Saul and I had Bruno as my two. And then if McTominay and Fred was your two that came in, even if they came and they might play 50 games between them. But those are your two rotations with Bruno and Saul. Now that's a midfield. That's a Premier League top 4 level midfield squad. And then you're bringing in Jimmy Garner and Levitt for the odd game. Oh, it's a cup game. All right, Fred and Dylan Levitt. Off you pop, lads. Let's have a fucking good run out. And then in training, you're seeing how good is Dylan Levitt compared to fucking Bruno. How good is Jimmy Garner compared to Sal. And that's the level that you want to... Like, Ollie or whoever's in charge next year gets to fucking pull one of them aside and go, I want you to do what he's doing. Watch him in the game. That's where the levels are. Someone was probably grabbing hold of Nicky Butt and going, watch what Roy Keane's doing here, right? That's you, that. And did he ever get that level? No, but there's probably things that he picked up off of him by being in training with him. And at the minute, what you're doing, you're grabbing hold of Fred and going, see what Match did? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, yeah.
Don't do that. It's the opposite, isn't it? Look, Dylan, see what Andreas just did there? Don't do that. Do the opposite of that.
Look for a pass.
Yeah.
See what Mickey Phelan's doing there?
Do that.
There you go.
See where he's gone with the mayo on top of the chips.
That's what you should be
better.
doing.
Not mayo and then the chips. That's just weird.
I'm not being funny though. Michael Carrick must be ripping his hair out at times.
Yeah, he's probably going, can't you just pass it through to the forwards from where you are?
Give me the ball, this is what I want you to do. Right, go on, Andreas.
And he shot, and he's like, I didn't do that.
Forget it.
I bet Carrick still has got that ability.
Of course, he's just not got the...
What is he, 2 years out, a year and a half out of playing?
It's like...
Right, so you get a ball on the halfway lane, right, and then you would just foot and bang it into the forwards, like.
It's not a bad impression, that. Yeah,
and then, he's
pretty bad.
He's not up and down like that, is he? He's a bit more like...
It's a lot softer Geordie accent than that.
Yeah, it is a bit, But yeah, and he's like, can you just, like, put it right between them like that? No.
We can't do that.
Nah. It's like asking me to run 100 metres in 7 seconds.
Keane should join the coaching staff.
No.
Can you imagine the carnage that would go on if Roy Keane was having to coach these players of what he's used to?
Oh, there'd be a lot of that. I'm leaving itis.
Yeah.
And he's not the most sympathetic of fellas, is he?
You know what I mean? Our injury list would double because Roy Keane would be battering people during training.
And do you know what? People say that all the time. Oh, I bet he'd do that. But Roy Keane actually would do that.
Of course he would.
I went to a Sportsman with Dwight York, and when you just think of the stereotype
what's that name you just dropped there? Me and Dwight York, my new Bezza.
It was a Sportsman's dinner.
Hey,
Paid your ticket, went sat in the crowd.
Oh, right, so you made that like you and Dwight were going
No,
there.
I said, went to a Sportsman's dinner with Dwight York. Do you want to rewind it and read
it? It sound like he picked you up in the car.
Yeah, it was
all right.
Yeah. It was like, I thought,
Got a lift to the dynasty.
Me and Dwight.
No, that's not how it went down. So yeah, Dwight York, it was meant to be York and Cole. But Andy Cole got sent to fucking China or something for a foundation. So they sent. So it was that famous partnership of Dwight York and Paddy Craren that ended up doing it.
They scored a hell of a lot of goals.
So Yorkie was talking about Keno at Sunderland, and he said, "Me and Keno really got on." And do you just think the image that Dwight York has got is party boy in it? And now, the reason he's got that image, a bit of a fucking party boy, wasn't he? Let's be honest. Have you read Gary Neville's book?
Yeah.
Read?
Yeah.
Shocking sentence in there where he says Dwight York was the fittest man at the club. Hardest working, fittest man at the club. So I was like, wait, what? Probably why Keno didn't want to murder him. But he says he was playing defensive midfield, wasn't he, for Sunderland? She's so fucking mad, innit? And he said they'd just lost. I think they'd lost 4-0 somewhere like that. He said, and Keno basically insulted the player, his ancestors, his boots, his hair choices, his bird, his dad. He just fucking character assassinated everyone one by one by one by one. And then he got to Yorkie and he said something mad like, "You were shit and all."
Just, mate. Do you know what though? It's mad you mention that because they had a charity game over in Celtic, I think it was, over in Glasgow, sorry. And Dwight York was there, and I think it was Chucky was telling me that Keane was still funny with him, and Dwight York was like trying to be nice to him. Keane was still being a bit funny with him because of what had happened at Sunderland. Like they're at a charity game, and it's like everyone's friendly lads together, and Keane's still being like moody with him.
With
With Dwight York. So what went on
He is
at some
nuts, isn't
point?
He is
And
nuts.
Dwight York's
He's a psychopath.
Like, dead nice, like, and he's like upset, like, oh, I'm really still feeling a bit. What do you mean? And the other lad's like, oh, don't worry, it's just Keane. I'll be alright with it. That wasn't.
You know about the game that he lost? I think it was who did he manage? It was Ipswich and Sunderland won it, and that's it. Innit? It must have been Ipswich then. In fact, he's got his headphones on. There was a game with Ipswich where it was like, right, coach goes at fucking like 1:55. If you're not on the coach, we'll leave it without you. So some lads was running late. They phoned and they said, oh, look, there's been a fucking accident on the motorway. We're probably going to get there, but just on the off chance we don't, like, we're just letting you know. And it was like, 1:55, coach is going. They pulled up and are running towards the coach and he's like, drive off. And then they lost the game because they didn't have enough players.
Have you seen the one where... I think it's in Dwight York's book, or it was serialised in the paper, where he talks about when we were losing at half time and Roy Keane says to his assistant, put the tactics board up. And he said then Keane like puts the tactics board up, Keane walks out of the room, comes running in and flying kicks the tactics board. Just says, oh, that goes out the fucking window if you're not going to try and all this.
Like he
and all
goes
that.
out for a run up. Like he needs to.
I love how he's like, I can imagine him like putting a fire extinguisher behind the door to keep it open and stuff, and then just come in and fucking gadooshing it.
Like his last time, like karate kicks through the board.
He's a fucking loon, isn't he?
Yeah. I told you that when we met him in town when we were kids.
Was it with Lee Sharp, you say?
Lee Sharp, and we were 14 years old. I was 14, lad, one of my mates was 13, around that age. And funny thing is, my mate had a black kit, when you've got in there with Keane on the back. And we went over to him and Lee Sharp, in the middle of Altrincham. Oh, Keane, oh, Sharp, you're here. And Sharp was alright, he signed back of my ticket stub I had from the West Ham game from the night before. And Roy Keane just told us to fuck off. He literally went, fuck off. And my mate went, Keane, look, I've got your name on the back. He went, fuck off. And my mate was gutted. He was like dead upset, he's getting like emotional. I was laughing it off, I thought it was brilliant.
It's weird as well, because then he would have only been like 25.
Sweating, probably younger. I think that was the 93 to 94 season.
So he's
22, yeah.
22, 23, yeah, because we signed him at 21, 22.
Yeah, so I would have been 14. He would have been,
That's mental, though, isn't it? Like,
but I thought it was hilarious. I was laughing my head off.
Did you ever go watch him at the Cliff?
Yeah. Loads of times. Well, not loads of times, a few times, yeah.
So, I think it was treble season. Which you think, going back, I mean, that's fucking great, isn't it? But, like, I mean, at the time, you don't know it's treble season, do you? And we'd bailed out of school. I think it was first couple of weeks of September, because it was still sunny. And we'd gone out of the training ground. And obviously, it was still at the Cliff, weren't we, for treble season. So the Cliff's an absolute shithole, isn't it? Let's be honest. So they put these barriers, crash barriers, concert barriers. And there's a gap in the middle of them for cars to drive out, because the players literally park like where Mitz is there, don't they?
Yeah.
And then the crash barriers are here, and like you walk in and that's you. You can literally go and watch training and everything. It's insane to think that this was summer.
You could go on the pitch.
Yeah.
You could go and like sit next, like my mate. I told you, nicks a pair of training pants off the pitch.
Pants with
Mark Hughes is so good.
Some big old quads.
Yeah. Used them as a tent. But yeah, it was mad. You could just walk up, couldn't you?
So I remember David Beckham was one of the first out, and he literally signed. There's maybe 120 people had gone there, maybe something like that. It might not have been that. It might have been like 80, maybe. Right. And he made sure everyone who went got a photo, got an autograph, got whatever the fuck they wanted.
The disposable cameras.
That's what I had. I took a Kodak one of them.
Yeah. So I had the picture of me and Beckham pinned on my notice board for fucking ages. And then Fergie came out. I remember Jesper Blomqvist coming out wearing high heels. That was a strange one. Yeah. Like, almost like, is he wearing high heels? He is wearing high heels, isn't he?
Did it match his handbag?
Okay. He had like flared jeans on and high heels. Very straight. And a leather coat.
Nice.
Respect.
So, he came out. I'm trying to think who else came out, because there weren't many players come and sign stuff. There was like Stam came out, signed one person. This is the worst, isn't it? Yeah, after training. This is the worst thing in it. He came out, he walked straight up to the finger, signed one person's finger, and fucked off. Just don't sign any. Like that. Did
they come out? Because I went in '93. I think.
So you know where the doors
94,
are,
94,
like that weird sort of lobby entrance kind of door. They came out of that, and their cars were. So here's the crash barriers here.
Yeah.
The building's there.
Yeah.
The car park's here.
Yeah.
They were parked here.
Yeah.
So some of them would come over and then go and get in a car and then reverse and go.
It's the same as when I went, and it's a similar thing.
Keno jumps in his. I remember, never forget this. Silver Range Rover, fucking enormous. Best be back then. It was a big old thing, wasn't it? In 1999. He just gets in his car now. because like Beckham's signing everyone's autograph, where the exit is, everyone's sort of filled into it. Keane just drove at the people until he moved.
That's what I mean. No, that's what he was like.
I just revved it until he moved.
So many stories like that about him.
He used to always talk well of Beckham, though, didn't he, Roy Keane? He always
He's a grafter.
Yeah,
that's what you know that he's got respect for different people. There's someone else that he actually really low key loves. Cleggy.
Was it?
Yeah, because no, Cleggy's not
as well, wasn't it? Or did he fell out with one of them? He said that there's a couple of players where they talked about. I think Beckham was
Ronaldo was one that he never disliked.
Yeah, that might be it.
Ronaldo, because you assume like Keane won't stand for this sort of shit, but you're like, nah. Because why did he love it? Because the guy was always going back and doing extra training.
Yeah.
He didn't speak to Chucky for a year, and Chucky said them two got to training the first, and he said for a whole year he didn't speak to me because he fell out. And he said, you know the discipline that takes to sit in a room with someone, just you and him for a whole year, and you never say a word to them.
How can you be angry for that long? I've never been angry at anyone.
Roy Keane.
It's just that.
Look at him.
Probably enjoys it, doesn't he?
It's just mad, that level of intensity and that.
Mad, isn't it?
Joe,
dedication to
that
everything.
was probably because someone misplaced a 30-yard pass. It's not fucking good enough.
Beckham hit the bathroom with a free kick 50 yards out.
Oh, fucking hell.
But no, him in that changing room now, carnage. You couldn't have that.
Oh, you couldn't?
It's too much.
It wouldn't actually work, would
No.
it?
He'd reckon he'd be the
too
first
much.
player to be reduced to tears.
Probably Jesse.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see him going in on Lingard as well.
And Luke Shaw.
I think
Shaw
Rio...
reduced to tears.
Yeah, it's Luke Shaw.
Luke Shaw's
It's Luke
reduced
Shaw.
to just a paste.
From things I've heard from some of the
Fry
coaching
grade.
staff who are just like shaking their head at like what is going on. Yeah, it's Luke Shaw. It's Luke Shaw, and then Jesse, come sit down, lad.
Yeah.
once he goes home crying eating a burger, we're having a chat.
His scorched remains blow off the chair. You sit down there.
Fucking sit down, we're having a word. Because Rio said he got a fucking chewing off him, didn't he? For going on. Was it for going on Twitter? No, it wasn't, because he'd gone by then, hadn't he? He got a chewing off him for
What's
something.
that story you always tell about? Or was it Rude?
No, it was Dwight York.
Rude when he said Cantona would have controlled it. Yeah.
So Dwight York's first ever training session,
Yeah.
I can just picture it. It was sunny, it was August. It was actually raining the day we signed him because I was at Kendall's the day we signed him.
Right.
Spraying myself with all the tester aftershaves. Not do that? No.
Where?
I was 14, shut up.
Where is that?
Kendall's. But I still do it. Is it still open?
Where's Kendall's? What is it? Is it
House of Fraser.
It's not short. It's still
On
going,
Deansgate.
Oh.
It's Kendall's if you live around here. Anyway, so Manchester Evening News before it got shit. Like, United have just signed Dwight York. We're like, what? Sick.
Mint.
Well happy. And I think we'd already signed Yap Stam, hadn't we?
Yeah.
Didn't know anything about him.
No.
See what he's about.
Had a stinker, didn't he, in the Charity Shield?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
Really? Someone like that now, by the way.
Oh, God. Yeah. Well, we came second and added, Blomqvist, York and Stam.
Two of the best players
And Keno
ever.
had come back from injury. Not
Yeah.
bad. Not bad.
So,
Then you look at who we
yeah.
signed the last time we finished second.
Yeah.
Hello, Fred and Lee Grant.
High five.
Similar, similar quality.
So you can imagine
Very similar.
it's sunny. I can even imagine a training kit because it was that black training kit with the like luminous green sort of sharp and the Umbro stuff on there. Dwight York, he's wearing a chain because he just wears a chain all the time. It's sleeveless. It's fucking glistening off him because he's fucking sweating. It's sunny and he's happy. And he walks up and fucking everyone's like, "Hey, how you doing? Welcome to United." This and over. Keno, it's a ball from him. This far away, levers it at him, and then gets in his face and growls at him. Cantona would have controlled that. He's not said hello yet.
What? What?
Yeah, did he have a go at Rio for playing a backward pass as well?
Probably.
Something like
There
that.
was a big one with Rio. I can't remember what it
I
was.
thought it was a sideways
He's a
pass.
fucking lunatic,
How
innit?
many people, if you like sat down, the people who know him, and you said, "Are you Roy Keane's mate?" would say yes. Do you think he's got loads of mates or like two?
I say what?
none?
Sharp was his.
Hey, when we went to, we did Viv Anderson, didn't we, the other week? He seemed to call him a mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
They've
you
got
would
that
ring him up and be
connection,
like,
the
"Oh,
Forest
moving
connection
house."
as well, both.
And both played for Clough, so there's probably
Yeah.
a big thing about playing for Clough. It's like, you show Sinatra's hand.
Yeah. You got punched off Brian Clough.
Yeah, you probably got called a fucking ball bag from Brian Clough.
Yeah. Because he, well, it's that I think added to his lunacy is playing for Clough, who was just an absolute madman.
Mate, I'm obsessed with him at the minute. I keep saying it all the time, innit? I'm just obsessed with Brian Clough.
Oh, there's so many good stories.
Yeah.
Brian Clough. If you ever listen to like Dean Saunders does a good one. Gary Lineker does a good one. If you ever get him on, there's clips of him just talking about times he met him, dealings with him. Gary Charles does a great one as well.
So with Dean Saunders, where he's just sat in his house.
Oh yeah, he turns up levered.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he wants to sign him. What? Takes a plant pot out of the garden and then puts Frank Sinatra on, funnily enough.
Proper man.
So he likes Frank, he likes plants.
What? Have you got the story of him? Do you know when he signed you? So I've just signed you. Now then, Jay, welcome to Nottingham Forest. Just to let you know, the second we can replace you with a better footballer, you're out the door. You've not signed a contract yet, and you're like, you what? You're gone. You're gone.
That's what it is. When Neil Webb was there, Neil Webb was like one of their best midfielders. As well, it's around the time we were after him, we ended up buying him, playing for England, and the keeper got injured, Mark Crosby got injured, so Neil Webb went in goal and conceded a goal. So next week he was dropped from the squad completely. Wasn't in midfield, wasn't on the bench. Clubby's dropped.
Just fucking gone.
And then he said he can't even play midfield, let alone goal. And that was what he said about it. I was like, wow.
Some absolute belting man management stories from them.
It's
and
just a shame in the club because his drink got to him in the end. And I think, like last season when they got relegated, it never would have happened if he wasn't on.
I could just see the pictures of him like walking to the dugout and stuff. I think that was on telly loads, wasn't it? Because they got binned, didn't they?
But he'd sort of lost his way a little bit, and then after he retired, he sort of came off the booze and was back to his old self. But what he achieved at that club, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Winning the title, back-to-back European Cups. The amount of times he finished like third and fourth as well, with no resources, winning the League Cup constantly. It's just mad. Do you know what I mean? And the way he did it, he's like, he basically took over that team and didn't spend any money, brought in free transfers, got the best out of some of the players were there, and he went on to dominate Europe for a couple of years.
Like you were saying this morning, one of the impacting managers back then.
Yes. Now this is something really interesting. I'm probably going to do. I'm going to start a new series called, in my opinion, I mean it's not an original title, but like it's basically the premise of the show is sit down with one topic and just waffle shit about that one topic without going off topic, which is probably going to be the hardest thing. But
maybe do it when you've not had, 10 rums the night before.
Mate, we did 4 bottles of rum in yesterday.
Too much.
I was seeing videos of you dancing.
It was good, wasn't it?
Yeah,
until my
decent.
shoulder nearly went through the wall. It crunched.
There's
really
a
bad.
dartboard ring in here. Where's that even come from? Where's that come from?
Soft foam rings that go around the edge of a dartboard.
I saw that. I thought it was a toilet seat at first.
Yeah, why is this in? What's happening with that?
Oh God.
Anyway, so yeah, the impact of managers. People think that there's this messianic character where that everything that they fucking touch can affect this, that, and the other, and people don't want to realise that actually when a manager has done well, it's usually on the back of signings that have come in. Even Sir Alex Ferguson in 1992, United couldn't score goals. We brought Cantona in, and suddenly we were a championship team. Like, it's transfers, it's recruitment. Recruitment's the most important thing in football now. But in the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s, especially the 50s and 60s, before they abolished the maximum wage, I can't convince you to come to Nottingham Forest. Hey Jay, I tell you what, why don't you come and move house, fuck about, make new teammates, and I'll pay you exactly the same as what you're getting now.
Yeah.
No. How about that?
Yeah.
So that was when a manager's abilities, because everyone's got a similar team. That's why Matt Busby stands out, because he won several championships when all of the teams are a very similar level. Whereas now the correlation is, and it's a 5-year sample, and this is a conversation that's so nuanced. It doesn't work in a tweet, and it might not even work on a YouTube video. I've got to try and fucking see whether it does or not. Because there's always outliers.
You
Leicester's
almost need
title
like
win.
a sort of scientific paper, kind of, like a study rather than like a conversation, don't you?
Yeah, you like. There's always outliers. So Leicester was an outlier, and that will never happen again. Sheffield United are probably an outlier at the moment, or Chris Wilder's a fucking genius, and we haven't just realised it yet. Good managers will get an extra out of a team, but people want to think that extra that they can get out of a team is like 50%. It's like 10%. The biggest correlation between where a team finishes and how and anything else is actually salary spend. It's not even transfer spend. Transfer spend doesn't have a correlation to what you do in a success, but your spend on wages. And now, before everyone goes, this is bollocks, United literally spend the most on wages. They do, but you got to look at where those wages are spent. A lot of that's Pogba. A lot of that is Sanchez. you take those two out of our final figure, and actually United probably aren't near the top, or aren't first or second, probably.
And also, like I said, there's always going to be outliers, isn't there?
Yeah, and there's always
negative outliers. Sheffield United are a positive outlier.
Yeah, and it's way more nuanced than being able to make a sweeping statement like, the more you spend on wages, the better you're going to be. And you can't just go, well, I'll tell you what then, let's just give Scott McTominay $500,000 a week and we'll be class. It doesn't really work like that. You obviously, you're paying better wages because you're recruiting better players.
Yeah.
And when you've mismanaged, like the fact that Ashley Young's on the same as what we're probably going to be giving to Bruno Fernandes, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And that shows where United are going wrong here with this. But the correlation, it's as high as 90% correlation. So it's not perfect. Like I said, nothing can be a sweeping statement. But the fact that people overestimate the ability that a manager has to a massive, massive degree. And this isn't my opinion before you all start fucking tweeting. This isn't my opinion. This has literally been backed up by fucking tons of studies. And you can go, but the Premier League this. No, this is like worldwide. All of the leagues in Europe, the correlation is 90% to this as an idea, as a premise.
So how often? So if you're looking at the teams that spend the most money, do they spend the most because they're spending the most? You know, they're getting the best players in because they're already the best team, so they can attract the best players. So you're going to end up spending more on wages, or like how does it allow an account for teams that didn't used to spend much, like City, and then all of a sudden spend fuckloads, or vice versa? Someone like Leeds, I'm sure their wage budget now in comparison, well, money's changed a lot since then, but teams that go down and come up, and does it still work even when there are strange goings on?
I don't know enough about it.
Right.
The stuff that I've read and the stuff that I've listened to was just talking about the teams at the top.
Yeah.
The correlation to league position to how much you spend on wages and not transfer fees. Transfer fees, they're saying, is like, you know, what the fucking hell is a transfer fee in terms of like, because you can bring players through in the academy. But such as Marcus Rashford, who probably is on somewhere like 200 now.
Yeah.
There's a correlation to how good he is.
And also,
as a
if you
footballer.
get 6 players in who are sort of 12 to 15 million pound each, they're probably on like 30 grand a week. Whereas, and you've spent a lot of money, but really your wages aren't that high considering who they're probably averaging a lot less. If you know Watford buy 10 players, they might have spent 250 million, but the wages won't be that high.
Yeah, it's really interesting concept, and it definitely meant more back in the day. And there's another video or idea or discussion, at least, to be had in terms of there's no coincidence that this Liverpool team is probably going to get 100 points. Last year we saw 100 points. The year before, would you say that was a generational Chelsea team? Not fucking tall. They got 94 points. What's happened is the teams at the bottom are doing this. The teams in the middle are doing this, and the teams at the very top are doing this. What that means is
sounds like society.
It's not but it's not as competitive as it used to be.
In the way that the money comes in, and how the money gets shared out.
It isn't as competitive. Now, the standard overall is probably higher because of the way that goes on, but it's not as competitive as it used to be. As we were talking about in the 60s before, it's a different team wins the FA Cup every year, different team wins the title every year, because it was competitive. Over time, and I've only got the data for the Premier League, but I'm going to draw the graphs, and the graphs are literally doing that. The teams at the top are taking more points than they used to do versus the teams at the bottom. And the teams at the bottom are getting relegated with fewer points than they used to do as well, on average. So, again, there's always an outlier.
Like,
and you always go, what about Derby in 2008? The average. The average of the matrix.
85 points used to win you the title, didn't it?
Yeah.
Now if you don't get 90...
And didn't we 76 our record, lowest record? 71 or 76?
Well, I think it's 78 or 79 we won it in 99 with.
What did we do in 97?
That was a long year, yeah.
I'm sure it's...
Because we got 81 under Jose, didn't we?
Yeah.
And like you probably would have won the league 6 or 7 times at that time.
And that's the thing. The league isn't... the league's probably... It's going a little bit like Scotland, and it's going a little bit like Spain, where you've got a couple of teams at the top that are able to compete.
We won it with 75 points in 97.
Wow. That's ridiculous, isn't
it? And we won it by 7 points.
And you'll even get your top 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would, yeah.
Just about.
But yeah, and that's the difference, is that the teams at the top as a chunk, on average, and they keep talking about these 5-year cycles of it all. So like Sheffield United might come in and blow everybody away this year, but the next 4 years they're probably going to be somewhere like 9th or 10th or something like that, which might be where they're at.
Well, look at Leicester. Even with that crazy outlier season, they had 3 years off, and now they look good again. But like it takes a few years to start
got sacked, didn't he?
Yeah, because it looked like they were going to get relegated.
It is ridiculous. And this is the thing about with it, and that's one of the reasons why you don't see me going sack the manager. No, recruit better players, see what happens. That's always been the case, and it's not just about you need time, right? What does time really mean? Because if I just go, okay, let's give him 5 years, and stare at him,
it don't mean
why is he not better?
Yeah.
No, the time is literally the time it takes to bring in better players.
I felt a bit sorry for him because he mentioned the time that Klopp was given money, and you got absolutely hammered for saying it, didn't he, Ollie? And people like, the Scousers, but not even the Scousers, a lot of Mancs were jumping on it and saying, well, you look at what Klopp had achieved at Dortmund and the fact that he'd earned the right to be given time. But I sort of get where I was coming from in the sense that, he's had, one transfer window, really.
Is it like...
And it's so soon in his reign that he hasn't really had a chance to mould his team to get it the way he wants it.
No,
he's not played his strongest 11 since Wolves away in the league, I think, which was the second game in. And I think after that game, Anthony Martial got injured, then Pogba was out, and Scott was out, now Marcus is out.
No.
So
I'll pick 2 years for you, and I'll say, why didn't we win the league this year? 95.
Eric got banned.
Right, okay, one player.
98 Keane, before you said it.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, you're right.
So you lose one key player like that. We've just lost Pogba.
Yeah.
How the fuck are we still fifth?
It annoys me because it's like Vidic in 2012. We missed him. You tell me Nemanja Vidic isn't worth a point.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all it takes.
Or a couple of goals.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean? That is it. It's those. You're right, mate. It's those margins and people. It's so contradictory as well because most of the people, not all, but most of the people that criticise Ole love Paul Pogba. Yet they can't see the fact that he's not had Paul Pogba for a big chunk of the season is going to be detrimental to his point talent.
So
you're telling me Paul Pogba's not worth so far this season maybe 6 points? If we had another 6 points, what? Are we in top four?
Well, 3 goals.
Yeah.
But turns a load of them fucking stupid draws and probably puts us into the top 4. Yeah?
So I'm not saying all is perfect, and I'm with you. I think you nailed it when you said there's a good chance he's laying the foundations for the next manager. I think that might happen. But I do think there's a case to be made that he has been severely hamstrung by the players that have been missing. Not necessarily the amount of players. I think most teams have 4 or 5 injuries. It's the fact that you've had your best player in Pogba, probably one of your most effective midfielders in Scott McTominay, and one of your most important midfielders, and your star at the minute in Rashford,
and then
when he's absolutely
we had Martial out for 2 months,
and
3 months.
Yeah, and you sort of when Martial got injured, he was the one that was sort of holding that front line together and enabling Marcus to gel on the left hand side. So you've had either your best player or your most effective player out for all the season.
How many times have Pogba, Rashford and Martial started a game together this season?
Wolves, I think,
Chelsea, Wolves.
Yeah, I mean, Pogba came on, didn't he? But
even then, it's so few, isn't it?
It is.
And they are literally our 3 most important attacking players.
And you look at it, and you look at the level that City were at. They lose Laporte, and the wheels come off.
That's what we've been saying.
Look at Liverpool. They're flying, but they've had no injuries. Really,
they've had injuries, but to the peripheral players.
Gomez is out for a couple of weeks, and Matip comes in.
Yeah, and Wijnaldum might have been out maybe.
It's not like they've not lost Van Dijk for 6 months. They've not lost Salah and Mane. Do you know what I mean?
Yesterday's game.
I'm not saying that they'd be where we are, but
they might be where City are.
Yeah.
It's like yesterday's game was a prime example. So Van Dijk didn't start, so Lovren comes in. Lovren massively fucks up for the Shrewsbury's goal. And if Van Dijk, say he gets injured and then Lovren has to play those Premier League games, you're not telling me Liverpool aren't dropping more points for that season.
Let's see if it happens.
This is what I mean.
Get injured, let's find out.
So I think it's so contradictory, this thing of people saying how wonderful these players are, yet dismissing the fact they're injured when they're having a dig at the manager. You can think the manager's not, should be doing better, which I do. I think he should be doing a bit better. But I sympathise with the fact he's been missing so many key players.
When he looks to his right and looks at the bench, he's just going.
Well, we all do the predicted 11s, don't we, on all our channels? And it's like
9 of the places are filled in.
Yeah. How different are they? 1 or 2 differences between all our. We've done predicted 11s where you've had almost a different. 7 or 8 differences because there's been that many players. He's in form, or we might rest him, or we've got a big cup game coming up.
We'll do it while I've got the computer. When we played City in the League Cup final last time, we were saying what a fucking good game that was, and we overturned it. And
Old Trafford was absolutely banging that night.
And I'm sure it was when Rooney and Owen played together.
Rooney got a last minute goal. I remember that.
Like, wow. And I was saying Fergie didn't think they fucking could play together. Right. Disagree, brother. Where is it? League Cup 3-1. There we go. So, Scholes, Carrick and Rooney scored. Let's just read the team out for a giggle.
Just those three players.
I know, mate. It's sad, innit?
So, Van der Sar in net was alright. Rafael da Silva, Johnny Evans, Rio Ferdinand and Patrice Evra was decent. Midfield of Carrick, Fletcher, Giggs and Nani. And Scholes, I guess. And Rooney up front. The bench was Paul in goal, Wes Brown, Vidic, Valencia, Park, Berbatov and Owen.
Mate, it's so depressing. It's so depressing.
Right, every single one of those bench players would get in our team except
Easily.
Shaq.
Yeah,
Every single
easily.
one.
Right, so he turns around and he goes, we need a goal. Do I bring on Berbatov or Owen? And we're going, do we bring on Matter?
Was it the
Or
Champions,
Chong.
was it the 2011 Champions League final where Berbatov didn't even make the bench?
Correct.
Yeah.
And he was top. He scored 20 goals in the league.
Yeah.
And didn't
Got
make the
golden
bench.
boot, didn't he?
And we spoke about that off camera. Not happy.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Still.
Not surprised. That was just madness. And yet,
He's
you know,
got loads of stick though, to be fair, Berbatov. He got a hell of a lot of criticism from fans and stuff. Because I always think, I can never remember what game it is, I need to look it up. Because he can't have missed too many penalties for United. There was one penalty
in the semi-final.
where he just
It's
passed it.
genuinely one of the worst penalties I've ever seen.
Around that time, he got
I
so
love
much
Berbatov,
shit.
but I've got to say that was a horrendous
He literally
penalty.
just like, he basically took his boot off and just chucked it at the
Yeah,
ball,
it
didn't
was like it looked like he'd done it on purpose.
Yeah.
It was that
It looked like he went,
nonchalant.
"Go
Should we give you the
that-
team?
that
Should we give you the
flawless."
team?
Go on.
I'm going to give you the team.
What
This
game
is the final. Van der Sar, Vidic and Rio was alright. I think it was Fabio but at right back.
Right, okay.
With Paddy at left back.
Yeah.
And then in midfield, Carrick. I think it was Carrick, Giggs, and Ji-sung Park.
Yeah.
And Valencia. Did Giggs line up on the left in that game? Or was it in the... I can't remember how they lined up. Oh no, Rooney lined up on the left, didn't he? I think.
think
And
it
then
was weird.
Javier Hernandez up front. So this is the same season, I think, because the League Cup. isn't it?
Yeah.
No.
No, this is
it
the
not?
season before.
Your League Cup was 9-10.
This is
Champions League was
Right.
10-11.
All right, yeah. So I was going to say, fucking no Hernandez. And then the bench, Smalling, Anderson, Fletcher, Nani, Scholes and Owen. And Berbatov not in the squad.
I think
He must
think
have been pissed off.
Fergie had this rose tinted glasses with Owen. I think he thought it was still the Michael Owen of 1998.
Ballon d'Or winner.
Yeah, don't. And to me, not starting Scholes was a massive mistake in that game. The Barcelona team were in awe of him, and I just thought he could have dictated that game. He could have. We had a chance. I think we had a chance with him in that team, and I think not playing him was just ridiculous.
I was convinced we were going to do it when Rooney scored.
Mate, you should have seen the array of
Was that
bets I had.
1-1?
Yeah.
The array of bets I had on
before
United
half-time,
winning.
wasn't it?
I had
What goal
every
was that?
scenario
That
apart from us losing. But like all of the different, like 1-0, 2-1, like 3-1, 3-2. I had everything like and all different goal scorers in it as well. I was fucking laughing if we came in, and obviously it didn't come in. I didn't ever once envisage that we wouldn't win the game.
Oh, mate.
I was so confident. Like, got them this time.
It's mad how you convince yourself of things in it as well. I remember in 2009 when they had injuries and they were playing Yaya Toure in defence, and I was like, he's terrible.
When
Ronaldo's going to tear him a new one.
does he miss or is he at the post? I think it's the post, doesn't he? Ji-sung Park in
The first 5 minutes were all over him,
Yeah.
and you thought this is it, and then
Oh,
that was
we're
it.
having
It was over.
Ronaldo tried winning the game by himself, didn't
So yeah, and
Should
Fergie
have won it the year after.
dropped
as well.
Tevez as well. That was a massive mistake.
That was the worst one for me, the Bayern Munich game.
Oh, Old Trafford.
Yeah.
And Rafa
Where
got
we-
sent off.
That's the worst one. That for me, that was worse than losing the finals because it was just like we've already won this game, and then they just got the goal back before our time. You're like, hang on a sec, have they got a chance here? And then fucking Robin at the end.
he? The Madrid one in Fergie's last
That
year
was bad, but it felt like Madrid were a better team than us.
Yeah,
Whereas Bayern weren't that good. then.
If Nani don't get sent off, we win that. And
I think Fergie.
even then, I'm not sure, you know.
I think Fergie dithered as well in that game. I know it's sort of sacrilege to criticise Alex Ferguson, but Tom Cleverley, even before that sending off,
dropped
was
Rooney
dead
for
on
it,
his
didn't
feet. He was dead on his feet, and I said, "You've got to get him off." And even after the red card, he waited. He waited like 10 minutes, whatever, before he changed it, and I think they scored within that time. And then he took Cleverley off for Rooney, and it was too late. He should have done it straight away. Cleverley shouldn't have even seen that second half.
You want to go and
Because
have a
he was
look at
knackered.
the podcast with Tony Strudwick?
With who? Sorry.
Tony Strudwick.
All right.
That I did with him talking about that game against Bayern. I think Rooney was jabbed up with his ankle.
They did him in the home leg, didn't they?
Yes, they
The
did.
first leg, yeah.
So I think he was jabbed up to play, and he didn't say he was shit, but I think he was basically admitting that Rooney was shit in that game and wasn't offering anything. And Raphael had been booked, hadn't he, in the first half, which is why he got a second yellow anyway in the second half for the... Was it Ribery fouled?
He pulled someone back.
I think it was Ribery.
It was a yellow, yeah.
And he said... I think he said... Go and watch it, because I'm going to get this wrong, but let's just roll with it for a bit. I think he said it kicked off somehow in the changing room at half-time, and they didn't sub Rooney, and they didn't sub Raphael. He goes, but as they was walking to the tunnel, they'd gone... We'll fucking switch both of them out at half time, and this is what we'll do. And then it went off or something in the dressing room, and then as it came out, it probably went off on the back of the goal going just in.
Yeah.
And then as they come out, he was like, "Oh shit, we didn't do the subs," and then they didn't make the subs.
It's mad, that, isn't it?
He's like, but in hindsight, Rooney should have come off.
Because I remember him asking Rooney and giving a thumbs up.
That was another one of them fucking Nani days
He was amazing.
where he just tore
back
them
heel
to
was
pieces.
filth,
When he went through, didn't he, on the near post, and I thought he was going to score.
Is that when he hit the bar?
I think so. He
was free up
smashed it
in
on
like
his
15 minutes, weren't they?
No, it was
The G-bomb
And they
getting a
won
goal there. Hey, Darren Gibson, I told you it'd come good. Hey.
No pants in the Stretford end, but I was K-stand then, so
An
no pants on in
absolute
K-stand.
worlder.
They won it, didn't they, that year as well, Bayern?
Yeah,
No,
it
it was Inter. They got to five.
Oh yeah, Inter
Oh,
won it,
of
didn't they?
course.
Yeah, Jose won it.
Yeah,
That's what. But it was
we
up
might
for grabs,
struggle
wasn't it?
to beat
Because as soon as Inter knocked Barca out, we could have beat Inter. We beat him twice season before, didn't we?
We definitely should have won more Champions League than we have done. Definitely.
Yeah, the fucking Bayer Leverkusen one.
Yeah, that was.
While we're talking about cup competition,
Dortmund won in 90. Is it Dortmund in 97? Was another one? Was it?
Mate,
Porto.
I think we had 30 fucking 4 goals attempts.
Porto.
That's the
But
worst.
I've never forgiven Tim Howard for Porto. Ever. Shocking goalkeeping. Not to mention the worst offside decision I've ever witnessed in my life.
That's why we got VAR, I think. I'm sure of it. But that Dortmund one, that broke me, that. And I think that broke Eric.
Yeah, I think you're right. I agree.
And do you know what? It might have been the right thing. Because I think Fergie sort of alluded to, look, he was slowing down. It wasn't the same.
Yeah.
For me, I'm never going to
think
agree.
that's one
No, he was
part-
amazing. He had 10 out of 10 every week.
I think that's part of the reason why he's so revered as well, because he's just left at the right
Who
time.
the
28?
fuck? But nah, 30, 31.
31.
30 or
He's
31.
retiring at 31 now.
Yeah,
But
imagine.
he retired at the top. We just won a title. He didn't go anywhere else. He just stopped playing football, and it was like, you know, he basically won the title every full season he played at United.
Yeah, we used to go with my auntie. My auntie's obsessed with Cantona, and it used to be like me, my dad, my auntie, and one of my uncles. Like there's 4 of us, and we was in North Stand for that '97 season, and there was so many times. I think there were like 6 matches, 1-0 Cantona.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
Yeah.
I mean, just what the fuck? Do you want to talk about score important goals in important games? Cantona, 85 minutes done. And there was one of the last penultimate home game maybe. Cantona nearly got booked. Like the referee was having a go at him because he stood still. He scored, celebrated, and then just stood in the opposition half. Didn't get back into his own half for the kickoff. He was just stood. He was just looking.
Did they do what Jesse and Marcus did in the Euros and try and score? Do you remember that?
He's just looking around like, and my auntie was like, "He's going in." I'm like, what? And he was looking around because everyone had a tricolor, didn't they? The Eric the King flags. If you didn't have one of them, you weren't even cool. The whole fucking ground's covered in them, and he was just looking at them. And he's pretty open book, isn't he, Cantona? I think you can say whether he's happy and angry or not on everything. And he was just looking at the flag, and she was like, "He's going in." And then, was you at the game for the presentation of the cup?
In what, 96, 97?
Yeah,
I think
West
so.
Ham.
Yes.
And they went inside, and it was Carlin, the sponsor at the time, and they made us do this fucking stupid saloon door thing in the middle of the pitch where the players had to come out. And Cantona had got well bored. And they had them purple drill tops on.
Yeah.
And he's standing there like that. And do you know, like when they've got this big fanfare and all these fucking fireworks to go off and stuff like that, and they open the door expecting Cantona to like stride out, Joe as captain, to go and lift a trophy, and it just opens on Cantona like that. Just fucking wounded. But it was level right with where we was in North Stand, Joe, as he was coming out. And we're like, fucking. And then he lingered all the way round, and then I think he announced his retirement about 3 days later. And that was me. That was the first time I'd ever been dumped. Just absolutely fucking destroyed.
How old were you, like 13, 12?
12, yeah.
That's a bad age to
Destroyed.
get dumped, isn't it?
Absolutely destroyed. Just fucking like,
It was, it was.
what? And then we were racing with Teddy Sheringham.
I know. And do you know what? It was mad as well that first season with Teddy Sheringham. It didn't really work out, did it? And I remember thinking, this is it. He's going to end up going. Just before leading up to the final in '99, I remember walking through Old Trafford and bumping into Teddy Sheringham and thinking he'll be gone in the summer because he barely played the second season. He He'd not had a great first season. Obviously, Arsenal had done the double. And in 99, we'd signed, as you mentioned, we signed Dwight York. Him and Cole had formed this partnership. And Ollie was coming off the bench and banging in 4 against Forest.
He was, I just thought
Sheringham was like the forgotten man.
Because we've just done...
but then, obviously, he, the last few games, he played and apparently he scored a couple of goals. I'm not sure.
Sheringham did?
Yeah, he might have scored one.
I'll have to go back and look at
FA Cup final.
Yeah, I don't know. I vaguely remember something.
Something like that, yeah.
There was... because we've just done the... I did a video which never released it, did we? The all-time leading scorers sort of graphic chart thing. And it's a surprisingly few amount of goals that he scored, but well, all pretty fucking vital. Where is it? 98-99. Scored 2 in the league. 1 in the cup. Which one's that? 1 in the League Cup. And in Europe, he scored 1 goal.
It's not a bad one to get, is it?
Really?
Yeah. So his time at United, 14 goals in his first season, 5 in 99, 6 in 2000, and 21 in 2001.
And how old would he have been in
That's
2001?
30.
Got to be
7 or something.
Exactly. He was getting on.
We went back to Tottenham after that, didn't
Yeah.
It's 2 years at Tottenham, where he scored 13 and 13, which is not a bad return for a 40-fucking-year-old striker. I don't think he was 40 by then.
he? No, yeah, he must have been like 31, 32 at United.
Right, he finished in 2008. Right, it blows my mind to know that he was still playing 20 games he played that year for Colchester in the Championship, right, in 2008. And he started... Do you know when he started?
1951.
1983.
Was that Millwall?
So what, 25 years? Literally.
Yeah.
How
25
many?
years.
Where is he in terms of Premier League all time?
He was in the 100 club for sure. So scored... Well, that's just league goals. 75 league goals at Tottenham, 31 league goals at United, 1 at Forest, which counts, I guess.
Against the Scousers, that.
Was it?
Yeah.
22 for Tottenham on his
Only
return.
season.
That's not bad in 2 years for a fucking 106-year-old striker.
There's an example, though, of where Clough lost the plot, going back to our original point. I remember that game against Liverpool. Sheringham scored on the opening day of the season.
They had a good team there.
And then Spurs came in for him, and he said he wanted to go. And Clough just about, you can fucking go now. Sold him.
There you go.
And didn't replace him. It's like Ian Wone or whoever, or someone.
Did they get Collymore in? They had Collymore.
No, that was under Frank Clark. They bought Collymore in. They were linked with Collymore, and Clough says he regrets it. I read his book. He said he should have bought him, but he said when they were linked, they got they won and drew a couple of games, and he thought, "Oh, we'll be all right."
It was in that. Let me just see if I can get the team up, and then we'll wrap it up on that. Forest, Nottingham, 92, 93. I just want to see what that Nottingham Forest squad was for 92, 93. Because they got relegated, didn't they?
They got relegated. Yeah.
Oh, did they?
Keno.
Bottom as fuck. See, here's the difference: 49 points. Crystal Palace relegated.
Yeah, but there's how many games?
points.
How many games there?
That's just how much. Do you remember talking about the split
There's
of
more games.
44 games in it. Was it not 44?
42.
40, sorry, mate.
Either way.
Yeah.
So that magical 40. Well, that's what Nottingham Forest had. Rock bottom.
They
44.
had a couple of decent players. They had Stuart Pearce was still there, I think. Keno.
Run that one, it.
Nigel
Beat
Clough.
Liverpool. Yeah, you're right. Sheringham, first game of the season, and then lost to Wednesday, Oldham, United.
Even when it's not United, I remember the Scousers
Every
getting
time
beat.
Liverpool have lost for the last 30
I think I was
years.
dancing around my living room singing Nottingham Forest songs at that
Mate,
time.
this is about as Brexit a squad as you get. They
Go on.
had Origerson, and that was the only foreign player that they had. The team was Mark Crosley. He was
Decent. Only managed to save a Matt Lissizé penalty. Bit of trivia.
Gary Charles,
Decent.
Steve Chettle. That is a fucking belting early Premier League name, that is. Brian Laws, Stuart Pearce, Carl Tyler, Brett Williams, Kingsley Black, Gary Crosby, Scott Gemmell, Ray McKinnon, Roy Keane, don't know about him, like. Steve Stone, Neil Webb, Ian Wone, Gary Bannister, Nigel Clough, bit of nepotism, love it. Lee Glover, Robert Rosario, who's apparently English, and
Great
Jason Kaminsky, who doesn't have a Wikipedia page.
Shocking.
And the reserve squad was just 9 English dudes with the Englishest names you've ever heard. Craig Armstrong, Steve Blatherwick. These sound
They're
like
proper
made-up
like
names.
Victorian names, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the first season.
Gary Bowyer,
He's coming round for tea and scones.
48 goals in 51 games.
Bobby
Blatherwick-
Howe, Ian
Blatherwick on the wing.
Kilford, Paul McGregor, Steve Gwynnon, Justin Walker, Lee Marshall don't even have a Wikipedia page, and Tony Loughlin. Yeah, fucking mint.
Because Clough was just levered out of his head. Just not caring anymore. I think it'll be alright. Don't need to sign anyone. Said he wants to go, he can fuck off.
Yeah, someone commented earlier, actually. There's a story about Brian Clough reducing Roy Keane to tears. What did he say?
Does
And how
anyone know?
did he do it? Nah.
He punched him once, didn't he?
Do you think Roy
He punched
Keane
him when
knows?
Roy Keane gave the ball away.
Was it punch him in the stomach?
He punched him, yeah, he punched him. And Keane said he didn't mind. He said he walked in the changing room at half time and he said, Clough 1 hour.
Imagine Keane just
And he looked like 19 at the time, Roy Keane, but he said I didn't mind because I'd given the ball away. I cost us a goal and he
Right.
deserved it.
Now that's the mentality that you're dealing with Roy Keane.
That's what I mean. But it's like.
I deserved it.
But he said when it's mad because he said he flew over. He had like a trial, didn't even meet Clough, flew over, and then was thinking like I'll be in the reserves and whatever. And then he said he just put me straight in the first team and like just left me there like for the rest of the season.
I wonder if you could get him in a good mood talking about Clough.
He loves Clough though, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He loves him.
He does.
Like, he's got a lot, obviously, more time for him than he has with Fergie.
Yeah.
And I think, there's no animosity because I think if you read Keano's book, Keane got to that point where, and you'll know this, well, you'll all know it, as a player, when you're sort of 18 and it's not happened, you think it's not going to happen. And he was kicking around in Ireland at Cobb Ramblers, I think he was at, living at his mum's. He said he was bored. He didn't think he was ever going to get his chance, gets a trial or whatever at Leeds, at Forest, or gets scouted at Forest, and Clough just throws him into the team and just leaves him there. So he just says, Clough is his hero. He can't do any wrong in his eyes, and I sort of get that because no matter what he won under Fergie, if Clough hadn't done that and took that chance, then he would have been the best player in the Irish League ever. Probably.
Or would he have sacked it off?
Or would he sack? Yeah, because he's
Probably
like,
stopped,
he was,
don't
he probably had a day job. I can't remember. I've read his book, but
He's like a milkman or something. Mental
I
like
think
that.
I've got this.
Everyone at the
Imagine Roy Keane as your milkman. 2 weeks.
I asked for those bottles back last Monday.
Roy Keane is your milkman, yeah.
Excuse me, I asked for semi-skimmed. This is skimmed.
Just 2 feet, just go straight.
A cow launched through your fucking...
Milk it your fucking self.
It yourself.
Mate.
Right, thanks for joining us. Go check out more of Jay on Full Time Devils. Check out more of Ryan on the news in the morning. And are we back for some fucking chaos tonight?
Got some carnage later. Well,
Yeah, because it's been a while since we had carnage on our channel, isn't it?
Yeah, last night. But yeah, we've got Late Night Live coming at 10 o'clock tonight, so tune into that as well. That should be fun. Should be good. More Bruno Fernandes. He's coming now again, isn't he?
Yeah.
You think
He
so?
is. Sky have said it.
All right, yeah. All right,
Guardian.
laters.